Shanti, everyone. Welcome. As always, every Monday we get together to with a special yogi who has been with Baba for such a long time and who has a very unique experience on this journey of Brahmin life. And today we have with us Sister Drossoula. Sister Drossoula has been on this path of spirituality for such a long time, and she has a very unique experience, which is very relevant to today, the Diwali day, the day of Diwali. And she has a unique introduction to Baba. She got introduced to Baba in Madhuban himself. She took Gyan in Madhuban himself. She originally is from Greece, from Athens near. She runs Baba's service in Kifissid, and by profession, she is a publisher of 2 magazines, Athena and Pomegranate, a magazine that she serves children through this magazine. And she is also a member of Greek NCT team. So, which is, in other words, she is taking care of Baba's yajna in Greece. And she has a full life. She is a mother of 4 children. She's also grandmother of 5 grandchildren. And she is going to share with us how to make Brahmin life a true Diwali. She has organized multiple Science and Consciousness Symposiums. Out of them, 4 of them were in Greece, and she also organized one in Athens, one in Mexico. Let's start listening to Sister Drossoula sharing, and so welcome, Sister Drossoula.
Thank you, Brother Harsha. Thank you for the invitation. It's a great honor to speak on Diwali, for Diwali. And I have been to San Francisco in many years. I used to be a frequent visitor there because my eldest daughter lives in the Bay Area. So I used to visit quite often and then drive every day from the Bay Area. Now she lives in Los Altos to the center with Sister Chandru, who is not with us anymore, although she's continuing Baba service wherever she is. And yes, it was an interesting entry of mine to Baba's knowledge. I was, as Harsha said, I was a publisher of 2 periodicals at the time. And back in 1988, an English language monthly called the Athenian, all about Greece and culture and everything. And Anthony Strano, who you have heard of or you have met, some of you maybe, picked up the magazine, or was picking up the magazine to see what's going on in Greece, and found my number on the masthead and called me in the summer of '88 to ask me if I would be interested to cooperate for the program that the Brahma Kumaris were holding at that time, called Global Cooperation for a Better World. And I said, well, it's such a lovely title. How can I not be interested in helping and contributing to this? So he started coming to my office and telling me that he's teaching Raja Yoga, but I just wouldn't let me carry on or ask him what is Raja Yoga, or never went to the center. He was just coming at the office. We were chatting. At the time, I was meditating already with a method of silver mind control. So I thought I knew everything. And I was speaking more than he did, telling him I had also read a book which is like a prophetic book. It was a paranormal phenomenon of somebody who had lived in the future and was describing actually what is going to happen, that the world is going through an upheaval, but then heaven comes, or scientists discover the soul and the supreme soul, and only then things get better. So I was telling him all about that we'll go through many difficulties, but eventually the world will be a very happy world. In any case, in September, he said, there is a summit meeting in Mount Abi, the closure of this program of the global cooperation. Before I let him, say any more, I said, I'm coming. I don't know to this day if he intended to invite me, but I said, I'm coming to this. Something rang in me that these 4 words, summit meeting in Mount Abi, I have to be there. So in February of 89, I traveled with Anthony to Mount Abi without having taken any knowledge whatsoever, as part of a group of participants of about 40 of us, to close the program and write the people's vision, the result, the summary of the program, which is a text that has been presented to the Commons in London and to the UN. And during that time, I remember arriving in Mount Abi at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was a misty morning. And I saw lots of people wrapped in white shawls going towards one direction. And I said, what are they doing at this hour? I didn't even know that they meditate early in the morning. Anyway, I was to say just that I was so ignorant about everything. And we listened to some lectures, and we had small group discussions, but not really straight knowledge. I was just picking up things from here and there. Then I heard that they read the Murli. I didn't know what the Murli was, every morning. So Anthony had said, bring some white clothes. That's what we wear there. So I put my whites on and went to the Murli without having any knowledge whatsoever. And Daddy Prakashmani was reading the Murli. And I said, what is this? That's not her saying this. She's reading somebody else's ideas. To make a long story short, during a meditation, the conducted meditation, the first few days, I forget which day it was, how many days I'd been there, I had the realization, the experience, deep experience, that I am a soul and not a body. I can't describe to this day. I just, the feeling I had then has not left me. The amazement that I am a soul who lives eternally. It was like a mountain was removed from me. It felt so light, so happy. I went to my room. For a long time before that, I used to look in the mirror in my eyes and I would say, one day I'll find out who is in there. I had that feeling that there is somebody I didn't know behind my eyes. So I went to my room, looked in the mirror and said, lovely to know you, finally. And that was 34 years ago. And the next thing that happened, the same day, in fact, they took us on a walk to Baba's Rock. And as I was sitting in meditation, I saw Brahma Baba. I had seen his pictures, of course. I had heard a few things about Brahma, but didn't know much. And it was like a vision, and he flew in front of me, picked me up in his arms, and we flew together over the whole globe. This is why it's significant that Diwali, he showed me the Diwali, in fact, he showed me the lit lanterns. And we flew over India and he said, look down, there are many, many lights lit in this part of the world. And then we flew over the West to Europe and he said, look, there are hardly any lights lit in this part of the world. I didn't understand what he meant at that time. Later on, though, because after I came back, of course, I was going to the center every day, listening to the Murli. I got the knowledge finally. Anthony was my teacher, my mentor. And later I understood what he meant. The Diwali is the igniting, what happened to me. The soul was not lit, and somehow the supreme light, the supreme being, touched the soul, and that's how it lights up. It gets the awareness of the self, the awareness of God, and the knowledge of time and the cycle. So this was my experience, how I came into Baba's lap in knowledge. Soon after I came back, during that gathering, there was an Indian environmentologist called Rashmi Mayur, who was talking about the environment and how the world, the climate, even then, back then, he was saying that the button of the climate crisis has been pushed. There is no way going back at that time. And we're talking about all kinds of things, science and spirituality. And he said, you are going to turn around to me, and he said, you're going to organize a science symposium in Greece, and I will give you the list of guests, of scientists to invite. I took it as a command, and I came back, and 11 months later, the first symposium in Greece, in Athens, took place, where 40 scientists came. We found the funds, we even paid for the tickets, for each one's ticket. Free accommodation. I got friends who had hotels who provided the accommodation. It was a miracle happening, really. I don't know how. Now I know how it happened. Later I realized that Baba does everything. And that continued then from 1990, January 1990, until May 1999, the 5 symposia that Harsha mentioned. Big service, Daddy was coming to each one, Jagdish Pai, Sister Genti, and many, many Brahmins who assisted. It was an international effort, in fact, international team that organized all of this. And after the third one, some Mexican professors had come from the University of Mexico City and said, we will organize the next one there. And that was one of the biggest ones. It was over 100 people, 100 scientists that came. And the whole theme was science and spirituality. Because to this day, science, whether quantum physics or reductionist physics, they have no idea what is consciousness. The reductionist science says that only matter exists, and we have to search into matter to find the original moment of existence. And the quantum physicists have gone way too far, saying that consciousness is a field outside of us, into which you can tap and understand and think, or that thought is a phenomenon of the brain, of matter. That's what science believes. And we have to do some more work so that they understand and come to the point that consciousness is a point of consciousness, supreme point first, and all of us souls, we are points of light. That's how the revelation will come, I suppose, because the institution that is still standing and is still accepted and believed is scientists. Politicians, religion are not going to have so much. They can't convince so easily about this. So only a scientific experiment or proven by scientists. In fact, Baba had said once to Ramesh Bhai, and it's a message, a personal message that he had, which I found somewhere and I keep it in my head all the time. And Baba said that spirituality one day will be proven scientifically. Of course, through experience, not through a lab or a microscope, but some scientists or one scientist will have the deep experience and will tell the world what consciousness is. And it's wonderful that the Baba's family has grown so big. At that time, it was very few. When I came into knowledge, it was about 200,000 Brahmins, and now I don't know how million or more millions of souls who have taken Baba's knowledge, and the Deepaks now are lit. So many. And it is this light in a dark world. Imagine that one by one, little by little, spread the light, and more souls get ignited. The lamps get ignited. They understand themselves. They understand God. They understand the cycle, the movement of cyclical time. Eternity, in other words, which is so wonderful. It makes somebody feel really, we know how we feel, flying outside the world and knowing everything. The happiness of the confluence age is, it doesn't compare with any other happiness we have for 2,500 years ahead and later even, because happiness never stops. It just is not as, its quality changes. And the duration of happiness, or how long I feel happy, changes from the Copper Age on. But it's now, during the Confluence Age, that this happiness is beyond description, really, because these feelings cannot be put in words. That intoxication of God, of knowing every secret. And Baba is the one who tells us all the secrets. And he tells us everything he knows. He doesn't keep secrets except one, how he gives visions. That's okay, we don't need to do that. He's the only one who needs to do that from Copper Age on to keep us happy while we are searching for him. And we have a long search, but the honest, the true devotees who do not get too much trapped into other philosophies, beliefs, religions, are the ones who eventually get to know him again, because once you meet God always. And this was the actually, when I first heard about the cycle, yes, I understood what it meant, but I didn't quite like it. And I thought that that repetition, oh, these things again will happen to me, remembering this particular life. And, I was thinking maybe it should be different each time, so we can improve things and change things and not feel sorrow, because we all went through sorrowful times. And one day, as I was debating with myself and with Baba, I said, I know it's true, give me a little time. I was asking Daddy Janki was telling me, Daddy gets a lot of happiness from the cycle, because of the cycle, knowing the cycle. And I said, what does she mean, happiness, knowing the cycle, that I'll go through that pain again? And one day I thought, okay, let it be different as you like. What guarantee do you have that you'll meet God again, ever again? And I panicked at the thought that the drama would be different each time. And this guarantee of the repetition and of meeting God eternally is just put me in my place, and I accepted, and I marvel with the miracle of the cycle, because it is a miracle how life carries on eternally. So today, the big celebration, I think it's the biggest celebration of all festivals, the Diwali, and the lanterns that light up constantly. Diwali is one day to celebrate, but Baba said the whole confluence age is the time of celebrating Diwali, every day celebrating. Celebrating means we know that we are a soul and have feelings about that wonderful understanding and awareness of who we are. In the golden and silver ages, it's a constant Diwali, but nobody celebrates Diwali because everybody is already aware of being a light. It's just so marvelous to think of all these details that Baba gives us about ourselves and our story, our future. I love the points. Where was it that you know everything, and the future is because you know the past, and the past is because you know the future and the present. I mean, we have the full understanding of everything at once. And this is what is going to bring the transformation of the world. When the oil of knowledge is poured in the Deepak constantly, then that Deepak, that lantern, the earthenware lantern, the soul, is permanently aware and lit. And that light spreads very, very far and wide. I don't think we are fully aware of the velocity and how far and how powerfully that light spreads. Elevated thoughts, awareness is light. And that light can be held in here automatically without any effort. It reaches out and it gets to the end of the universe. it covers the whole world. And everybody feels that light and picks up from it whatever everybody needs. And that's how the world will transform. And everybody will understand, because everybody will hear about this. And everybody will make a choice of how much oil they want to put in the light to make the light bright, that lights far and wide, that spreads these vibrations, these rays of all the wonderful original qualities that we all have inside. We all are these qualities: love, peace, happiness, bliss, power, purity, and so many. These are only the seeds of big trees of goodness, each one of them. I don't know how long I have to speak, Harsha. I don't want to.
No, please do continue. So you have another hour.
Okay.
So we would love to hear some of your experiences with the dadis and some of your experiences with Madhuban.
Yeah, right. Well, I was very fortunate because at the time we were very few. So we had daddies would give us time. We had time with the daddies. At the beginning, Daddy was inviting me to many of her travels to go with her. When the document I was mentioning earlier was presented to the Parliament in London, she had invited me to go there. The UN, when it was presented, and in fact, she asked me to even talk. It was a round table of officers of the United Nations and Brahmins, of course, that presented the document, and she asked me to speak, and I had no idea. It was really, I remember how flustered I was that I had to talk to such a place. I don't remember what I said. I hope Baba helped me to say the right things. And yes, and Daddy came to Greece quite often because of the symposia, but also for other visits. She had come to Greece even before I became a Brahmin. And yeah, wonderful experiences. When we would go to Madhuban, before going to the Murli, we would go and visit the Daddy's room and say good morning. And Daddy Janki would give a full class at 6 o'clock before the Murli. Outside her room. We couldn't fit in her small room in Panda Bhavan. So we would stand outside all wrapped in the cool air of the morning, and she would give us a class. And then we would visit Daddy Prakashmani in her room. She wouldn't give a class. She would say a lot fewer words, but her presence and her sweetness was such. I remember I learned a lot from Daddy Prakashmani. One day we were in her room. She said, do you notice that I only have a bed? Of course, there are two beds because Sister Little Mohini was also sleeping in the same room. And I only have a bed, a table next to it, and one telephone. I don't have a pencil and paper next to the telephone. And you know why? Because I never make a list. Whatever comes my way, I finish it on the spot. So I don't have to remember what I have to do. It's an amazing thing because I was somebody who made lists upon lists to remember what I have to do. Of course, with my business, it was necessary at the time. But I still make lists because you know, with age you forget. But I try to make the list here, or not to make a list, but when the thought comes that I have to do that, do it at that time. Don't leave it for the next day, for the next hour. Not successful all the time, but it's an effort. I was quite impressed with Daddy. And you would see the Daddy sitting in the courtyard in the sun. You'd see Daddy Prakashmani, who was president of director of a big, big organization. And she was so calm and peaceful and sitting in the sun and say, is she really a busy person? Yes, she is a busy person, but you never see that she's a busy person because she accomplishes everything at the time it comes in front of her. That's one wonderful thing I learned from Daddy Prakashmani. Still trying to put it to practice and fully. And the other was I had a question about how long it takes. It was very early on, how long it takes for a soul that leaves a body to enter the womb. And she said, it takes as long as the fragrance of the flower to come to your nose. That quickly. Of course, it means how close is the flower in your nose, but the speed is amazing and it goes immediately because the soul is the fastest, it travels the fastest and it reaches the furthest. Every thought reaches as far as we want to send her to. And that's why we travel the worlds in a second. Baba says everything happens in a second. Every click that we have happens in a second. Every awareness, every aha, every understanding, it takes a second. It doesn't take long. So many, many stories with the daddies. We're very, very fortunate and we want to really transmit this wisdom that the daddies shared with us. And they offered so much. They still do service, of course, and every time we see a picture of Daddy Janki and feel that she's there, things will happen in the mind that we'll understand more, even through the subtle service that they're doing now. We can communicate with them, in other words, as we do with Baba. We can also remember the daddies and have. Sometimes she would pull your ear if you didn't, but with so much love that it didn't hurt at all. I remember once we had a big program in a hotel in Athens, in a big hotel in Athens, where Daddy was going to give a speech. And I had organized, because I knew the owner of the hotel, who for years has been giving us big halls for free. We're very lucky, never paid for a program. Anyway, and I had arranged it, had a scene, an elevated space, and the floor, on the ground where the chairs were. And there was a sister who was playing the guitar, and she was going to open the program playing the guitar. And I had put the chair of the sister with the guitar high, and I had put the table and the chairs for Daddy and Sister Genti, who was translating, down on the floor. Daddy comes into the hall and looks at this and says, well, what is this? You have to put the chairs up so I can see the souls, because they won't be able to see me down below, and put the guitarist below. I ran and I fixed everything in a minute before the program started. I asked the people to make the shift. And then I went to Dad and said, Daddy, very sorry about this. It's all right now. And she turns around and said, you would never have to say sorry if you had used your mind and you thought properly. So she was, pointing out that you really have to think before you act carefully, not just, it was a funny moment. She didn't pull my ears too much, but that was a good time, a good one. I said, yes, Daddy, you're right. But she did it with so much love that you're happy that she cares for you to be careful. She wants you to be careful and think ahead before you do something. Experiences with, I had experiences with Jagdish Bhai, who, of course, as you know, is the one who has written all these wonderful books. He knew science, religion, philosophy all at once and was putting it in comparison to the knowledge. His books will prove, I think, eventually spirituality, because they're so scientific. And he would come to all, he came practically to every symposium we had. And there is a site we have that has his speeches. One of his speeches in Mexico, the one he delivered in Mexico, has been digitalized and it's available on the internet. And yeah, his wisdom was immense. Yeah. But as I say, the experiences, there are souls. The daddies had the experience of Sakar Baba. We had the experience of Avyakt Bab Dada and the daddies. But now I have a feeling that Baba is even more available at all times. Yes, we still go and see a video of his visits, Avyakt Murlis. But the connection, I think Brahma Baba, Bab Dada from the subtle region is very busy touching all of us at all times. Of course, when we are available also, because Baba doesn't want to force himself upon somebody. I remember once telling Baba, I know I have to remember you so you can use me. This is the whole system. Not Baba. I remember you and you work through me. But I said, please work through me even if the moment I don't remember you. And the reason I said this is because I know he won't do it just in case somebody goes back to him and says, why did you use me when I didn't remember you, when I didn't want to use me? So I said, I'll never tell you that. Use me and you'll never hear from me, why did you use me when I wasn't thinking of you? That's being clever. This is what Baba says, clever kids. But anyway, it's luckily he has a lot of humor as well. And I'll share one more experience. After I became a Brahmin, the next year in 1990, February, I went to Madhuban to meet Baba for the first time, Avyakt Bab Dada, for the meeting. I had a very short span to stay in Madhuban because I was very busy in those days with my business as well. And it so happened that Daddy Gulzar got the flu. So the date of his coming was changed, but my ticket was before that new date. So I had to leave before Baba came. I was shocked, I was depressed, what to do. I went to Daddy Janki, I said, can I change my ticket? She said, it's impossible. In those days, to change a ticket was one of the hardest things you could do. And so no, she said, you have to go back. Your family will be upset if you don't. And I resigned to the idea, and I packed my bag the day before Baba was coming, or a few days before Baba was coming. But the day before I left, I was sitting in the courtyard in Pandav Bhavan, and Janti Ben goes by and says, come to Daddy Gulzar's room at 6 in the afternoon. I said, wonderful, what is this gift? And I went, and it had happened that Daddy Gulzar at Amrit Vela had gotten a message from Baba for me. So in spite of the fact I had no personal meetings had stopped in 1988. Baba did not come in 89, and in 1990 was the group meetings. I think we met by country or by continent, I forget. We started by countries and then by continent, and then not at all getting up on the stage. So I got a personal message via Daddy Gulzar, which I still have. It's 1 page long. And Baba was saying the first sentence he said, which again, I didn't understand at the time, or I didn't believe at the time. He said, the speciality of this child is courage. And I said, what he's talking about? I used to faint at the sight of a sty in my eye or a hangnail, and I mean, brave and courageous. Later, I realized what he meant. And he carried on to say that when there is courage, there is always Baba's help. This is he tells us to everyone, in fact, and how much he had liked, because it was right after the first symposium in Athens, that January it happened, and I was there in February. How much he liked the service, and so on and so forth. Anyway, so I consider that being a very special experience with Bab Dada, to send me to have a personal message at the time when there were no personal messages. Maybe others got them too, but it is an exception. And I consider myself very lucky for that. But as I said, Baba is always there. And we have to feel that when we remember him, he's right there, helping from the smallest little task we have to do to the biggest task we have to do. I had that experience now recently, having gone through a difficult time with some property and the sale of a property, and a very complicated story, and how Baba made everything go so smoothly and so perfectly, with the result that I could never have thought would happen, like a miracle. Miracle upon miracle happens when we are together, holding hands with Baba at every step. It has to be a natural, constant awareness. You know, the same way, we don't have to remember so many things, but we are aware of them naturally. The same way, to be with Baba has to be a natural, constant feeling, awareness. I don't know how to describe it. You don't have to remember your name again and again. You know it. So this knowledge, this awareness is constant. Okay, and then you talk at times, and then you sit at times and get lost in his love, all kinds of different ways of connecting with Baba. You either bring him here, or we go to the south region, or we go to the soul world. But the constant at every step, whatever we do, all every day, having him to get with us as a companion makes a life a miracle, a Brahmin life with happiness, contentment. Actually, more than happiness, I like the word content, to be constantly content with who you are, with your life, with everybody around you, content with the self, content with the family, content with the drama, whatever happens. Because now we are outside the drama. The world is going through hell, literally. Every day we hear more and more things of violence and crime and misery and war and famine and whatever is happening now. But we are not part of it anymore. It should not really get inside and affect and make us drop and feel sad or upset or worried or fearful. None of that. Because all of this we know is happening. We know what is going to happen. Why worry? Our job is to be ignited lamps, ignited deepaks, and send light to this darkness, to which darkness we do not belong anymore. We are outside.
That was beautiful, Sister Drossoula, and especially this confluence age and all the beautiful relationships Baba gives us. And it is and the love in the family, love in Baba's family is so unique, unlike anything else that we experience. There's so much obligations and there is so much burden. Would you like to share a little bit more on the family part of it? Like, how can we build these alokik relationships in the family, and how can we build relationships with the daddies who are in their subtle state, so that for new people who are here, so how can they make the most out of Brahmin life?
Right. Yes, the connection with the daddies and how we can still feel and experience their presence is the same as we do with Baba, actually. We experience his presence when we remember him, when we think of him. And the same with daddies. If we need to talk to daddy about something, the moment we do, they're there. We have to realize that yoga is any thought you have about anything or anyone, you're connected with that anything or anyone. Yoga is connection. We just have to choose what and who we connect with. Huh? So it's very easy. It just, when I think of, say, I was speaking of my daughter in California, in the Bay Area, when I remember her, there is a connection. We have proofs of that, actually. How often we think of somebody and this somebody calls us the next moment. We have picked up the thought. So there is constant communication between us and among us, and among the family as well, or any thought we have, we connect. If we think of a thing, an object, we connect with that object. If we think of a person, we connect with that person at that moment. Our choice now is not to connect directly with things and people in the world horizontally, but to connect via Baba. It's a triangle. I don't connect directly with the world anymore, even with the daddies. I do it with Baba. First, I think of Baba. First, I remember Baba. And then I connect so that I receive the sakash, the energy, the power, and then I give it out. I increase my own power. I become strong. I share his light. I'm a transmitter of his light. At the same time, of course, I benefit, I transform, I change, I burn my old sanskars, all this cleansing that takes place with a connection with Baba, but then I share that. It's not having yoga directly with the daddies or with anybody, with relatives, with family. It's first I connect with Baba, and then I have connection with the others. When I do that, the relationships improve with everybody, Lokik and Alokik. Because the way Baba sees everybody is quite different of the way we see everybody. So if I connect with him before I look at a brother or a sister, I see them as Baba sees them. It's a trick that I have to put into practice. Otherwise, if I connect directly, I'm prone to see the defects, to see, not to have such good feelings. Because souls have defects, we all do. Others see me the same way. And it's a very common thing in the Brahmin family. And this is why Baba says we have to harmonize our sanskars all the time, because he knows that we are not quite there yet in terms of alokik relationships. It's very easy, particularly the ones who are close and we work with and we have transaction on a daily basis or frequently. It's very easy to have love and send sakash to the souls of the world, billions of them. Very easy. I visualize the lights in front of me and I send them light. When it's somebody very close, it's quite hard because we have transactions with them and sanskars pop up, and that makes it sometimes difficult. But, and this is the biggest challenge I think that the Brahmin family has at this point, is to harmonize the sanskars. The whole family has to become like one thought, one feeling, not to see any defect in anybody. The moment we see a defect in somebody, we increase it, we give it power, and we absorb it as well. So it is a real task to harmonize and to, as I say, there are some methods we have to use. One is when I look at somebody, first to look at Baba, connect with Baba, and then look at that person. My vision will be quite different than if I did it directly. Because Baba's vision for everybody, no matter what defects they have, is elevated vision. So I have to use him to help me. Once, years back, I had not such a good relationship with one soul who I felt had defamed me, and I wasn't very happy about that. And I didn't have very good feelings about that soul because I was hurt. And it took a while, but then I said to Baba, not too long, I said to Baba, at this moment, I have to be honest, and I cannot have such good feelings for that soul right now. But I know you love that soul, and you have very good feelings for that soul. He's your child, and you love him. Please, when you send him light, when you send him love, do it through me. Don't do it directly. And I, in no time, shifted and had lots of love for that soul. I went right beyond it immediately. It's we have to use Baba all the time, whether it's to alter our feelings or to do a task or to achieve a big program, to make it successful, whatever it is, connecting performs a miracle. And it is now the time to really get over this horizontal fashion that we use in our relationships and make it vertical first and then spread out to the alokik family, lockic family, the world, and to those that we work with closely. Yeah.
Wow, that was an amazing technique that you have gave to how to harmonize sanskaras. Having this feeling that Baba, you love that soul, you know that soul better than me, and please use me to send your love and light. And in a way, something within our hearts changes towards that soul. And even though we might have hurt by that soul, we open up something else within us for Baba to work through us and harmonize our sanskaras. And Baba is harmonizing in a way, and we are asking Baba's help. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Because love is contagious.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Together we use Baba's energy to uplift and settle our karmic accounts and come closer to Baba.
Exactly.
And this is really beautiful technique.
And if we ever have good wishes for soul that we see the defects of to change, that's the only method of helping that soul to change. It's not by speaking, correcting, gossiping about. That's the biggest. That is one of the big problems. Baba says it all the time, talking about somebody else and the defects of somebody else. I wonder why it gives so much pleasure, because I've gone through it. Everybody has gone through it, and maybe still sometimes. What is the pleasure of talking about somebody's defects? One point that struck me that I read recently in a Murli, in one of those global bhattis that we do, it was some excerpt of a Murli, and he said, seeing the defects of others is lust. I had never thought of that. It's a very, very strong point, which means that the satisfaction, the pleasure we have is lust of talking about somebody's defects. And that really blew my mind, and it makes it easy to put a full stop because it's a very strong point.
Wow, that's a unique way of looking at looking at the defects is as bad as lust then. And
Yeah,
that's true. It takes soul very
right.
close to body
Yeah,
conscious, and then
yeah,
we drop our stage very fast. With
yeah,
that, it's as bad as getting into lust. Wow,
right.
that's a powerful thing.
That's a very
So,
powerful statement.
yeah. Do you have any particular place that you take your mind to in Madhuban to, especially when you invoke Baba and then send Sakash to the souls, or any particular technique or visualization, some practice that you do?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
So is there any particular place? Would you go to History Hall, or would you go to Baba's hut when you meditate, when you take?
Oh, when I'm in Madhuban, you mean?
In other words, like,
Oh, from here even. Yeah, when I
that's right.
meditate. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, yeah. You can use you can be very creative in meditations where, uh, one thing is to have Baba, feel Baba next to you. The other is if you want to, sometimes, you open the Baba's room on the internet and go there in Madhuban, travel to Madhuban. Travel has become so easy these days. We can be in Madhuban anytime now. And that helps because it brings back experiences we had there. It brings back memories of experiences we had in Madhuban. But I don't do that very much. I go to the subtle region and create my scenery. And because it's like a blank drawing board, the subtle region. You can draw anything, you can design anything, you can bring anybody there. It's the area, the the space of creation. Actually, all creation takes place there. All the elevated thoughts take place there. You can't have a low energy thought in the subtle region. It's only elevated. It's physically higher and it's spiritually outside. It's ethereal. The subtle region actually is ether. It's the connecting element between the five elements and the sixth element, the Brahma element, the element of Brahma, of light. Ether is like the subtlest of the five physical elements that connects the two. And it opens up only it exists only at the confluence age. After the confluence age, there is no subtle region anymore. It's the space of creation. Creation is the elevated thoughts that create. Soul's elevated, the elevated thought of souls and God is what creates the world, the new world.
wow, this is a new explanation I have heard about subtle region, and it's a bridge between this world and the other world. And
Yeah,
it's a bridge between, it's a bridge to go not only to the other world, the soul world, but also to go to the golden
yeah,
age. It is where the real creation of the golden age is happening, either through
exactly.
Satil Brahma Baba, Babdada coming from there into this to transform ourselves. And yeah, would you like to elaborate a little bit more on that part? Because how or a little bit more on that elevated thought that gives us access to the subtle realm, and how can we create our future form there.
Yeah,
And because
yeah,
Baba says like Manmanaba is one thing, remembering Baba is one thing, and other thing is Madhyajiba. You have to get into that subtle stage, you have to invoke your divinity, you have to uh, create your future
yeah,
form now. Would
yeah,
you like to
yeah.
elaborate a little bit?
Right, right. Thought creates the world. It's not like taking, Baba doesn't take earth and water and creates people, he purifies the soul. That's a creation. You know, Adam, Brahma, the first creation is the cleansing of the soul. It's not a physical work, and the new world is not going to be created through physical methods. It's created through thoughts. The moment I have created my kingdom in here, in other words, I have gotten rid of anything negative, hurtful, old experiences and scars that I've lived with for many births. I have created my kingdom already. What is the kingdom? It is the original, eternal qualities of the soul. It is the truth, the real, clean, pure, perfect soul that has not one trace, tiny trace of anything dark in it. It's just light. That's why that light is very powerful, very powerful. It's energies. Each one of these qualities of the soul is an energy, very powerful energy, bright energy. It's a light that emits vibrations, rays. When this is happening, then I live it in the physical. Only then nature picks up this pure, clean vibration of the soul, collectively, of Baba first, of course, and nature changes from impure to pure. The elements themselves change from impure to pure. We don't have to cultivate them to make them pure and to put fertilizers or anything. They do this by themselves. And I was wondering, Baba says, I purify you and you purify matter. And I said, how can we do that? Whole globe, whole universe of matter. How can we purify matter? And then I thought a simple method. 5 little points. Each one is one of the elements. And send Sakash to these 5 points. And then I said, they will take care of themselves. I don't have to worry about the rest. Take Baba Sakash and send it to the 5 elements. If you want to visualize them as they are, you know, fire, earth. I think it's easier to visualize a point and send Sakash to that. And then nature knows what to do. We don't have to think about nature, how it's going to. Do we ever think how nature, how a flower blossoms or how a tree grows or whatever? No, nature does. How the body is created? No, nature does it. We don't have to think about it. And I also remember Dadi Gulzar, who said, speaking of the point, she didn't even put 5 elements in front of her. She said, Baba the point, I the point, and the whole world is a point. She didn't even bother see the globe or, you know, see the lands and travel in space or whatever. 3 points, Baba, me, and the world is a point. In other words, if you reduce it, the whole universe, into a point, you give Sakash to the whole universe.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. So it would be great if we can guide us into beautiful meditation, the 5 elements, creating our future form, and the whole beautiful. The Sister Elizabeth has been good friend of Sister Drossoula for such a long time.
Yes, let me see the. Wow. Gallery.
Hello, angel soul.
Hello.
Can you see me?
Yes, I see you. Hi, dear. How are you?
I'm good.
Great to
Now
see
you
you.
have to come. You have to come.
Yes, I have to come. I'm planning to come next summer.
You know, you are amazing soul. I really so humble. You really are wonderful.
You too, my dear. You're one of my favorites. My favorite.
Oh, the feeling same for me.
Yeah, yeah. I remember the times they had together in Anubhuti.
Yeah.
San Francisco.
Yeah. And Madhuban.
And Madhuban. Right. Very, you know, it's
Well,
lovely.
thank you so much. Yes, thank you.
Well, I thank
really
you all for, it's a great honor for me, actually, to be asked to do that. And especially for Diwali.
Yeah.
Festival. Imagine, they celebrate you, this huge festival that all of India celebrates is all about us. Can you believe that?
The lights, the incognito stars.
The stars, the lights, so beautiful, so wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's lovely.
Diwali, when you are born, Diwali is when the visions have started. Like Baba took us up and then he showed the lights and he showed, you're so beautiful.
Yeah. So nice, so nice. Elizabeth, tell us something about Diwali.
Yeah.
What's that?
You tell us a few things about Diwali and the lights.
Yeah, Diwali to me, I was enjoying just seeing all the Diwali greetings from everyone, and it just connects everyone to let the past be the past. Just let even the worries of the future, just let them go and enjoy. It's really a matter of our minds being set, that it's our disposition, it's our perspective, it's how we perceive reality, right?
That's right.
And so I choose to be happy. And if I'm finishing karmic accounts, wow, isn't that great? You know, and it shouldn't be just endurance. It should just be that I remain light and easy. Like you said, when that switch happened for you, it became easy. You just said, oh, okay, this soul is not easy to work with. Let me just shift. And it's just a change of mind.
Absolutely. Everything is a choice.
It sounds easy. Oh, it sounds easy, but it's a practice. No matter how many years we've been on this path, it's still the first lesson. So I have to keep that lamp lit. And to celebrate Diwali, like you said, is to celebrate ourselves and to celebrate each other. And to celebrate all of you in this Zoom classroom here, sharing.
How wonderful.
Yeah, and it's just a time of blessings and to appreciate what we have, how lucky we are, how fortunate we are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what makes us intoxicated. You know.
And now Harsha is going to go from Iron Man to Gold Man. Right,
Harsha? How did it go?
It went well. Baba was there, family was there. It was beautiful. Everyone's cheering
Yeah, I
up. I
saw
was
your
carrying
video.
Baba's flag. Yeah. So, Sister Drossoula, if you can guide us through a beautiful meditation on Diwali, it will be really beautiful.
Okay. Okay. Om Shanti. I gently turn my thought inwards. And I connect with myself, the sparkling star that I am. I experience in the silence of the mind my original true qualities. I experience peace, love, bliss, power, purity. That's who I am. All of these send light, vibrations to the whole body and to the atmosphere from the center of my forehead. And this light that I am dispels the darkness in the world, in nature, and in every soul. And I can do this because I'm connected constantly with the supreme light, the supreme soul, the ever pure, bright star. That is my Baba. I absorb all his qualities, his powers, virtues, the brightness, and from the center of the forehead, I send out light and might, his light and his might to the whole world. Om Shanti.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sister Drossoula.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.